And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Founder Fridays. I am your host, Naisha Brown, and I'm the program coordinator for DivInc. We are an organization that works with tech startup founders and supports our local startup community here in Austin and in Houston. Every week, I'm going to be sitting down with some startup founders who are doing exciting and innovative things in the tech ecosystem. And we're going to be learning all about their journeys and their expertise in their respective industries. This week, I'm super excited to kick off our Founder Fridays with Pedro Silva from Milkify. Milkify is this really, really amazing company that's doing some innovative work around breastfeeding technology, and I'm really excited to hear all about it today. Thank you so much for joining us, Pedro. Can you
Yeah, thank you
please
for having me. I'm excited.
can you do me a favor and introduce yourself to our community? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you can start talking about Milkify.
So, hi everyone. My name is Pedro Silva. I'm the co-founder of Milkify. We're basically a team that's out to revolutionize the way that moms everywhere store and transport their breast milk. For my cohort 8, Houston, fellow alumni, always has a 2-month-old baby bouncing on his lap during the cohort sessions. And so so we're excited to be here. Milkify was originally founded by my wife a couple of years ago, and while she was in R&D, I helped her sort of finance the business. Came from before, and at some point, I saw the potential. We talked to enough potential customers that was, you guys should go all in on this. Breastfeeding would have been a customer. We could came to believe in the mission and the idea, and so we both jumped in with both feet, and here we are today, 2 years later, and it's been quite an exciting 7-month-old baby who's, we're back here doing our thing in the facility. So.
Well, thanks so much, Pedro. You already are touching on a lot of the things that I wanted to discuss with you, so that's a great intro. Thank you for that. You mentioned that you co-founded this company with your life partner. Can you tell us a little bit about what that experience is like? What is it like running a company with your life partner? And then can you also walk us through the joint decision you all made to go all in on Milkify?
Yeah, absolutely. We do things backwards sometimes. So we say the lights backwards a little bit, and so we do things in a little bit of a non-traditional way sometimes. And so the way we actually got started with Milkify is we were sort of we were living together, but we weren't married at the time, and she had this grand vision and grand idea, and so we were at that point in our relationship where we were about to go all in our relationship by talking. It's like, are we getting married? Are we not? And at the same time, we had this discussion around not only jumping together as life partners, but also jumped in together as business. Try to forge a new path for ourselves and have a new kind of lifestyle. How we live our lives, the way that. Can you see me? I think I broke up a little bit. I got a message. There we go. We had those conversations at the same time, and the funny part was when we hired a lawyer to help us form our LLC for Milkify, that same lawyer did our prenup. So all of that was happening all at the same time, and so it was kind of a not traditional type of situation, but because it all happened at once, it seemed natural. In a way, we were both sort of going through life transitions. I was in a finance job that I wasn't exactly happy in. I could feel myself sort of burning out, and I was looking for something more entrepreneurial. She was, she had just graduated from her PhD studies, and she, tried doing consulting in Boston for a little while. She was helping another startup sort of get their laboratory set up. But she wasn't really enjoying that. And, but she did catch that entrepreneurial bug by working with a startup for about 6 months. And so, once her project was over, she came back to Houston and said, you know what, I need to try this. And I think I've got an idea based on stuff that I was doing back in grad school, and I think it could really work. We did, it's not like we just jumped in blind into this. we did do a lot of validation before we, it was a big decision, right? And so she spent a lot of time sort of tinkering with the technology, sort of playing around with different, ways to make it work. We did a lot of customer interviews. I talked to a lot of my contacts who were in finance or corporate, finance and things like that, who had been moms in the past or who knew a lot of breastfeeding moms. And so we really played around with a lot of different ideas and talked to a lot of people and got a lot of feedback before we decided, that this was something that was worth doing. But the thing was, once we decided that it was worth doing, we knew that the only way to make it work and to make it succeed would be to go all in. We knew that, if we try to do this as a part-time thing at night, or on the weekends, there was just no way that it was going to work. We needed to go all in and sort of hold our own feet to the fire, so to speak, to maximize our chance of success.
Absolutely. And just hearing you speak, I'm wondering was there a moment when you were having these interviews with women and talking about what their experience with breastfeeding was there like an aha moment that you and your wife had about, or that let you know that this was the idea to go all in on, that that this is what you wanted to dedicate your entrepreneurial energy into?
Yeah, I think there's one moment. So when we started off, the whole idea of having someone give you their breast milk for a service that no one's really ever heard of before, it's something that's so new to people and requires so much trust that we offered it for free just because we wanted people's feedback. We wanted to know, hey, if you actually use this with your kid, which is already asking a lot for you to try something new with your own baby, the way you're feeding them. So we really wanted to just get that feedback first. And so we found a couple of moms and friends in the Houston area that tried this. And there was one mom who sent us a video. And the first time we saw our own product, like literally, the milk powder, she mixed it in the video, she fed it to the kid, and the kid chugged the whole bottle. And this was a kid who, before, he wasn't really taking milk well anymore. In the freezer, and within a couple of weeks, it was starting to go, not really go bad, but it would have, changes in text and texture and taste and things like that. And so once we saw this kid on camera, she sent us the video, and we physically saw, like, hey, this kid loves it. And by the way, she didn't have to let her milk sit out for 20, 30 minutes until it, thaws out. She didn't have to warm it in a bottle. All she did was add purified water to it, and she shook it up and gave it to the kid. And it took like 2 minutes. And we were like, you know what, this could actually work. Because this kid loves it. The mom seems to love it because it was much easier for her. And so just think about what it means for travel and what it means for all these different things and all these different problems that breastfeeding moms face. And so I think that was the closest thing to an aha moment that we got.
Yes, I love that moment. And I can just see the video now, the baby chugging down this milk. This is also fascinating to me because in my previous role, I was actually a maternal health researcher. So I've, spent a lot of time studying maternal health issues and policies that affect women who are preparing to give birth. So this is right up my alley. I feel like I could talk all day about this intervention, but I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about what it's been like balancing your business with family life and raising this newborn infant. Well, your child was an infant when you started Milkify, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So can you talk about what that experience of balancing those two babies that you had at once?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's really hard at times, but one thing I learned in my last job, when I sort of flew a little bit too close to the sun and came close to burnout, was that without balance, your performance really suffers and your whole life sort of starts to very slowly fall apart, and that's not good. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your business. It's not good for your relationships. And so with that in mind, we know that balance is something you have to actively work towards, and you have to kind of make it non-negotiable. Now that clashes with entrepreneurship sometimes because a lot of the times there are other things in entrepreneurship that are non-negotiable that are going to come into direct conflict with your need for balance, right? And so that, I think, is one of the key challenges of being an entrepreneur, especially being one with your wife and with the baby. There have been times where we were running pretty hot for, days, if not weeks at a time. And so, one thing that we've gotten pretty good at is recognizing, number one, when we are in those moments where, hey, you know what, we haven't had a day off in 3 weeks and we've been working 12, 14-hour days. What is it that we need to do to sort of make the situation better? And then forcing ourselves to pause and then take action to make sure that, things like sleep and, physical activity and, proper nutrition, drinking enough water, all of these basic things. And also, just things like taking walks with your family, being able to, sit down and relax for an hour or two and enjoy time with the baby. All of these things are important, and they sort of let you refresh your mind and, come back to work the next day and be more productive and make better decisions and all of those things that are really important to be able to succeed. So I'm not going to say we've mastered it, but I think we've gotten really good at self-correcting when we do tend to, let things get out of balance. The nice thing is we don't let it get out of balance for too long. We sort of think of entrepreneurship as it's a marathon, but you have to sprint parts of it. And so it's okay to redline for a week or two at a time, but it's also important to sort of slow down, when you don't need to be running quite as fast, and save your energy for when those demanding times do come up. So.
Yes, thank you for that. I'm sure that is a message that's going to resonate with so many people who are going to be watching this. Burnout is more than real, and sometimes you just need that reminder that it's okay to slow down or press pause for a little while. So earlier you mentioned that you are a part of cohort 8 of the DivInc Accelerator, and congratulations on that. Can you tell us about that experience? And what advice would you have for anyone who is on the fence about applying to our accelerator program?
Yeah, sure. So I really enjoyed the experience. I loved, all of my cohort members. I miss Mama Joy and, all of the things that we learned from the cohort, all of, the camaraderie that we sort of experienced. Even though it was mostly virtual, we got to see each other in person a few times. The whole experience was great. I think, one thing that I would say if you're on the fence is do it. You've got nothing to lose. The application is not that bad. It's not that hard. The worst thing that'll happen is, you've gone through an application that will probably force you to sort of sharpen your thinking and sharpen your communication around your startup idea. You might get some feedback that could be helpful to you as to, why you didn't get selected. But, hopefully you get in and you go through the program. You learn a lot through the content. You learn a lot through, interactions with your cohort members, the practice, you having to go up there and sort of pitch your business idea and, do the homework and explain why you think the way that you think to, mentors, advisors, cohort members, the access to the entire DivInc network. I mean, all of those things just mean that there's no way you can't come out on the other end of the program as a better founder and with a better, company. Some of my cohort members, completely pivoted their ideas and they're now doing really well. Some of them were already doing well and now they're doing even better. I mean, the access to the network and the fact that everyone is there really interested and invested in your success. It's really hard to substitute for that. And one other thing I'll say about DivInc is other accelerator programs, they'll either take a big chunk of equity in your company or there's this sort of competitive nature to it where everyone is like competing for some cash prize at the end. DivInc is different because it's really collaborative. And so there's not this sort of, sharp elbows culture where everyone is trying to outdo each other. It's really everyone is trying to help each other, right? I'll give a shout out to, Hope and Miracle, for example, who, they do HR consulting on the side. When we needed help with our first hire, they stepped up and helped us with all the paperwork, right? Without sort of it was a no-brainer. It was just like, yeah, I'll give you 2 hours of my weekend to help you out because, you're my cohort 8 brother, right? And so there's this sort of camaraderie that's really important in helping you stay sane too. Entrepreneurship can be a lonely journey at times, and it's important to sort of, have that community, have interactions with other people, and not let yourself, go too far down a rabbit hole without any feedback from others, right? And so I think for all those reasons, it was a wonderful experience, and I'm really thankful for the whole DivInc organization and the whole team for everything that they provided for us.
Thanks for sharing that. And in the spirit of community and sharing resources or things that you learned in the Accelerator program, can you share maybe one or two like game changer resources that you've learned about? It doesn't have to be through DivInc, but just in the ecosystems that you're a part of, what are some of the game changers that helped you either change the way that you like, operate in your business or change the way you think about something or the way you access a specific resource? Can you share?
Yeah, I think one thing that I learned was, and this was probably a really important shift in the way that I thought about fundraising in particular. Um, it's easy to sort of go out there and start a plan online, right? And there's millions of blogs and websites and books and videos, podcasts, and et cetera. And you can get a lot of conflicting advice. And a lot of the advice is sort of, geared towards a certain type of startup, a typical Silicon Valley, hey, we want to be unicorns and build $1 billion company, and we need to raise as much money as possible, and we need to play this, entire game with a fancy pitch deck and whatnot. And we one of the things that came out of DivInc was we had access to Joe Merrill, who runs Sputnik ATX, and I got to have a one-on-one discussion with him as a sort of a mentor. And what the advice that he gave me is sort of flipped everything that you would read online on its head. He told me, raise as little money as you possibly can, but still run your business, right? Sort of keep control of your equity, focus on your revenue, right? And sort of don't worry about everything that you read that's trying to tell you, do this, go after the biggest VC money possible. First, decide what kind of company you want to build, decide what milestones you're trying to achieve, and then find as little money as you possibly can raise to achieve those specific goals, and then come back and do it again if you need to, right? And that was just a completely different way of thinking about it, but it served us really well, and it kept us from taking some deals that were offered to us that I think, looking back now, would have been completely the wrong deal to make. Because one thing I've learned is every 2 or 3 months you might change what your goals are, and so you don't want to lock yourself into something that you might regret later. That's just one example of a conversation that I had that came away from really, and it really made me think, and it really made me evaluate what our goals were.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So we're coming towards the end of our time already. I can't believe it. We have a couple minutes left, and I wanted to give you some time to share anything that you wanted to share with the community. Do you have any updates or ways that the community can support you? Let us know, and then also let us know where we can find you on the interwebs.
Absolutely, yeah, sure. So you can find us at our website is milkify.me. We also have an Instagram. It's at milkify.me. Facebook page, etc. As far as updates, so things have been really busy at Milkify. So over the summer, we had to stop taking orders because we hit maximum capacity. We were able to raise a little bit of money from friends and family. We used that to expand our capacity by about a factor of 6 compared to where we were during the DivInc days. And so we're slowly opening, the orders back up to the public. We have a bigger facility now. We made our first 2 hires, and so we're a 4-person team now, which is really exciting. A lot of that, came out of conversations with Joy, through DivInc and with our fellow cohort members. So these are seeds that we planted, back in March and April that, we executed on over the last few months, and they're finally starting to bear some fruit. And so things are really exciting at the moment. And if you'd like to help us out, tell a breastfeeding mom about us, or if you know someone that might be a great fit to come work with us as an operations assistant, or as order fulfillment, or really anything that may be able to help us continue on our mission to keep expanding the company and keep helping moms, keep giving moms a better way to store and transport their breast milk. Send them our way. We always love talking to people and meeting them and networking. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Pedro. We'll be sure to share all of your handles and your website once we post this video. But thank you again for taking the time to meet with us. This has been so great. I'm sure our viewers are going to learn so much from this chat. I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Yeah, I look forward to speaking with you again soon. And thank you so much, Naisha. This is great. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.